So today I'm making something special, and actually years ago I used to watch the Julia Child baking show, and I think that was on PBS. And so today I'm going to make the Irish soda bread, all right? And actually I've never tried this before, so I've seen it a few times. I'd seen it maybe 20 years ago, maybe more, that I had seen this on Julia Child. And the lady that made the bread was actually just appearing on the show, and her name was Marianne Cunningham. I think it was Marianne Cunningham. And so I really like the recipe. It looks like a lot of fun. All right, so I'm going to try now and make the Irish soda bread. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing is sifting the flour. All right, so now I'm going to measure out the 4 cups of flour. And I heard that you don't really need to sift it, but I decided this time that I actually want to go ahead and sift it. Okay, so I just switched over to this sifter because the other one was taking forever. So I'm just going to use this instead, and I have here another 3 cups of flour, and I think this is going to be a lot faster, so I'm just going to do it this way instead. Okay, so that's my 4 cups of flour. Okay, so I have a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. There we go. And so now I'm going to add in the baking soda. And so, like I said, I'm going to make this. This is my first time, but the recipe looks very simple. And so I'm just going to make one addition to the recipe, just because I'm going to make this for the kids, and I just want to make sure that they actually like this. So I'm going to add some chocolate chips. Okay, otherwise it's going to be the same. And so like I said, this is the soda bread that was on Julia Child, and so I'm adding in 4 cups of flour. Okay, you don't have to write this down because I'm going to put the recipe on a separate page at the end, and you can just screenshot it. Okay, so not baking powder, but I guess it might work with the baking powder, but I'm going to use the baking soda just like you're supposed to. And you need 2 cups of buttermilk. So I actually don't have any buttermilk at home right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make buttermilk, and it's very easy. So all you have to do is you add 1 teaspoon of vinegar for each cup of milk, okay? And if you don't have vinegar, you can also make it with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Okay, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice for each cup of milk, and this way you can actually make the buttermilk. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. All right, so I'm going to add my vinegar to the milk so that we can make buttermilk. All right. Okay, so I'm just waiting for that buttermilk to curdle a little bit, or whatever's going to happen to it. Okay, this is the first time I'm trying it, but so I'm going to now add in the salt and the baking soda to this flour. Okay, so let me just show you here. Unfortunately, this screen is so small. Okay, I guess you can see now. All right, so I'm going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of salt. There's 1 teaspoon. And I'm just going to bring this here so you can see. And I have my Easter things out here. Okay, so that's better. Okay. Okay, great. So that's 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to put another 1/2 teaspoon of salt. There's another 1/2. Okay, and we need, okay, so here's my 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So the only thing that I'm doing different here is that I didn't have the buttermilk. Okay, so I have to improvise here with this milk, which I've added the vinegar. So I already added the vinegar to this 2 cups of milk. Okay, and this is actually 3% milk. So I'm just going to mix it. I want to see here what this looks like because it's been about 10 minutes already. And I don't really see much difference here. But you can smell it. You can smell the vinegar. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that soda. And so I'm going to give it a really good mix. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm actually going to add the chocolate chips, which is my extra. I'm going to add them into here so that they can be mixed in well. And I want to do that before it gets wet. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to add about 1/2 cup. Okay. I'm just going to roughly, okay, so this is, okay, so that's about 1/2 cup. Okay. And that's just to make it a little bit more of a treat. Okay, so I'll mix that in. Okay. Now before I go any further, you have to make sure that you're supposed to have a hot oven. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to go and turn on the oven because the oven has to be very hot. And so it's 375. All right, so my oven is preheating and it's going to take about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this here with the chocolate chips. And so I think that the milk should be ready now. And this looks good. This is so easy. I'm kind of surprised. But I have seen a few of these Sodabread recipes, and some of them actually call for butter, and some of them have lard or oil, but I'm just following the recipe that I had seen on Julia Child, okay? And it looked amazing. All right, so I'm going to add in the milk now. And so I'm going to make a little well in the center, and then I will bring the flour in from the outside. Okay, so let's pour this in, and I'm going to do, I think you're supposed to put in half at a time. So I'll do the first half. Okay, and that is actually just about a cup. And this doesn't require too much mixing, so we don't want to develop the gluten. We just want to incorporate it gently, and there'll be a tiny bit of kneading at the end. Okay, so there we go. I'm just thinking now I could have added some sugar to this because I'm having it more of a sweet bread, but maybe next time. Okay, so there that is. Let me just show you closer here. And I'm going to add the rest of the milk now. This is really fast. Okay, so that's the whole 2 cups. And, oh, this looks wet. I'll try to incorporate every last bit of flour. Looks very wet here. Okay, so I'm going to now put this onto a flat surface. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to be using this Corning pan to cook the bread. So you just have to get some butter and spread it on there. Now, when I watched the show with Julia Child, the chef there, Marianne, she used a glass Pyrex pie dish to bake her Sodabread. So I think this should be fine. I just want to try it out and I think it's going to be perfect. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of flour here, and you can be generous now. At this point, they're quite generous with the flour. And this is very wet. You can see here how this is. Okay, so I'm going to dump this onto the flour here. I'm going to put lots of flour on my hands. Okay, and so there we go. So I haven't mixed it too much because that would develop the gluten. And I'm gonna get all of this out. All right, so a little bit more flour, and this is going to go into the oven quite quickly. And my oven is actually ready in 40 seconds. So I'm going to form this. Move this a bit, you can't even see here. There. Okay. And so just want to form this into a loaf. So wet. All right. It's like, it seems to me almost like as if it's too wet, but supposedly that's fine. Okay, I'm just going to give it a turn. And another. Okay, and it's very wet. I'm just not, you're not supposed to knead it too much, just so that it kind of, there. Okay, this is what I saw, and this looks like the loaf that I saw on the show. All right, so that's it. So I'm almost thinking that this is too soft, but supposedly that's it. Okay, so this is ready now. Okay, so there it is, and it's quite sticky. And you can actually cut all the way through. I think that should be fine. There. All right, so this is now going into the oven, and that's going to be in the oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. All right, so the bread is ready, and I just took it out of the oven. So I'm just going to bring it over now. All right, so here it is, and I'm just going to remove it. And I think it's still, of course, it's hot. Okay. So it's not sticking at all. You can see how that just kind of slides. So I'm going to cut into it now, all right? And it's cooled off a little bit. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay. You can see. Okay, it looks good. You can see how nice that turned out. Wow. So it has this nice crispy crust, and then inside it's nice and tender. And it has a nice bounce to it too. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so let me cut one more slice here. Cut a couple more slices. I guess it's better to wait till it cools off, but this is piping hot. I don't know if you can see the steam. Oh my goodness, look at that. This is amazing. I am really impressed with this. Okay, that's melting already. I guess you can put some honey on, but this one has the chocolate chips. Look at that, that looks so amazing. Crispy crust. Okay, I'm gonna have a taste. My mouth is watering now. So it's time for a taste. Alright everyone, I just want to thank you for watching, and I'm so happy with the way this turned out. It was a lot of fun to make, and now I realize that you can actually make this in a few different ways. I could add different flavors, maybe some cinnamon. I hope you guys give it a try, and let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully you'll enjoy making this as much as I did. Okay, and I'm gonna say bye for now.